Psychology.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And remember, for those watching us, please join the conversation. Submit your comments in the comments section below, and your questions will be answered live on air by our guests. For Emily, again, how has your experience connected to your major and your career aspirations? I know you touched on it a little bit with your internship, but how did you exactly know that doing the psychology would match up with your internship and what you want to do after school?
So I found my internship through QUCC, which is a website offered by Quinnipiac that really helps with finding jobs and internships. And I just wanted to learn more about what I could do with psychology because there's a wide range of fields that you can go into. So I definitely gained a lot of insight on clinical research with my internship at Yale.
That is awesome. And Emily, you mentioned QUCC. Rick, could you explain what that is and why students have access to it?
Sure. So QUCC is QU Career Connections, and it's our online site. It's available to students 24/7 to go in and see what job and internship opportunities we have. And they also have direct access to our employers. So there's about 5,000 employers that are in there, and students can not only just apply for the jobs and internships that are posted, but can reach out directly to employers and try to engage them and see if there's opportunities to work there.
And so for Sasha and Rick, what are some of the programs that students can get interested in to experience these type of experiential and applied learning opportunities?
So there's a number of things that exist generally. So any student can go in and find something the same way that Emily did. But in addition to that, we have some programs that we have that are built into our university. So there's QU in DC and QU in LA. So those are two options where you get to go and stay for a semester in those places and engage in an internship where you actually get matched with something that's fairly directly close to what your career goals are. We have a number of study abroad opportunities throughout the world, including one that we just started out through a connection within CAS to go study sustainability down in Costa Rica. And then we have a number of local partnership opportunities that we create, including one we just created with the National Theatre Institute and one that Sasha's going to talk about in just a second. Yeah. And then we also have a research opportunity that's called QuipRS. It's an interdisciplinary research program that any student can create their own research project and get mentored over the summer with a faculty member and get paid for that opportunity.
And Sasha, I understand you know more about those partnerships, right?
Yes, so one of the programs that we are currently developing is in collaboration with the Mystic Seaport Museum and Williams College. Students investigate the sea from various disciplines. It's an interdisciplinary program. So you have professors in history, maritime history, marine biology, and so students get to really explore problems like climate change, for example, through a variety of disciplines. So imagine being able to explore the problem of climate change through history, through marine biology, but it's also very much experiential. So students spend the semester traveling across the 3 coasts of the United States. So they go to the East Coast, the West Coast, and of course the Gulf Coast. And students get to explore the problem of rising sea levels by paddling up the vanishing marshes in southern Louisiana. So it's very much interdisciplinary, but it's also very hands-on.
Yeah, hands-on is great, especially for getting out of the classroom and really learning how to do things. So for Rick, can all students take part in these experiential learning opportunities?
Yes, so everyone's eligible to participate, and we actually encourage students to do multiple opportunities if they get a chance. Some of the majors will require it, so there's both sides of that come into play. And we do have some funding available for students, so if they have expenses related to travel or other things for their experiential opportunity, we can fund that. We're aiming right now to have funding over time to be able to fund at least one experience for every student.
And so how do we have that funding for students to be able to go?
So the whole story of how we've kind of put this process together for our students has really started to resonate with donors. And so we've had a few step forward and really fund this so far. And we have a good idea that that's going to keep going in the future.
And now we have a question from one of our viewers. Thank you, Justin. And Justin asks, what is the faculty-student ratio? The class size, what's that like? Emily, you can probably talk.
So the class, the faculty-student ratio is about 1 to, I'd say, like 28. I really enjoy, one of the reasons why I picked Quinnipiac was the classroom size was small enough where you had access to your professors after class. Sometimes professors on their syllabus, they'll leave their email, even their cell number. They say, feel free to call me if you need any help. So I really do think that the class size at Quinnipiac is a great advantage, just so you have that unique relationship with your professor.
Right, so that faculty relationship really does build.
Yeah.
And remember, for those watching us, please submit your comments in the section below. We will answer them live on air by our guests. And for Sasha and Rick, from the professor perspective, how important is that student-faculty relationship?
So if I could talk to the Williams Mystic Seaport experience, for example, the ratio is also roughly 4-1. The program has about 20 students. And imagine sort of spending a semester skippering a boat with your professor, working with an artisan sort of, welding iron, for example. So it's very much a close working environment, both in terms of some of our experiential programs, as well as within campus programs as well. So within the history department, we foster close relationships with our students. So we have, for example, the History Senior Seminar, where we work one-on-one with our students on original research. I'm teaching that course this semester, for example, and in that course, I spend an entire semester sort of, walking students through the process of writing their own original thesis. So it's really critical to our program.
And so, Rick, we have a question from Tori for you. How do the professors help students get internships?
Well, that's a great question, and I was just going to add that to what Sasha just said, because all of our faculty work with students, and they work with them both from an academic perspective and a career perspective. So they have the opportunity to work with faculty who know their fields really well and know what they need to do to get a career going. And then they also have access to me and folks that work with me to get the direct career relevant training for things like interview skills and resume writing and things like that. So they got both sides going for them, which is a great combination here for our students.
For Sasha, another question from CJ Mia asks, what are study abroad opportunities for students?
So there are a range of study abroad experiences. So I think Rick mentioned the trip to Costa Rica, for example, but we have programs going to various parts of the world. There is study abroad to Ireland, to Spain, of course, locally with the Mystic Seaport. Even students who are not necessarily interested in, leaving the country, they could also have experiential learning within their own classroom. So there's a lot of emphasis, for example, on integrative games, for example, within the courses. So, you could travel to Europe, you could travel to the Caribbean and Latin America, but you could also travel domestically here within the United States in the Mystic Seaport program, for example.
Thank you. And remember, join the conversation. Submit your questions in the comments section below, and they will be answered live on air by our guests. And speaking of which, we have another question from Talia, and she asks, are classes more project and discussion based or test based? Emily in the class, can you explain a little bit about your experiences?
Yeah, so I think I've had a wide range of types of classes that I've taken. For example, the smaller classes are more discussion based, or like College of Arts and Science classes I think I've experienced are more discussion based, where it's more of a conversation with your classmates and the professor. There are classes that do have obviously tests and projects that when needed, but I really enjoy the wide variety that you can get with all the different classes offered here.
So it's definitely a mix, and you try to incorporate that, right? I'm sure, Professor?
That's right. So we use a variety of instruction techniques, ranging from lectures, discussion. But one of the things I mentioned before is the use of interactive games, for example. There are courses currently in the history department using reacting to the past as a technique, a teaching technique. There's a course now sort of being offered, The Rise of the West, and how it's being taught is students are assigned a variety of roles and objectives in reenacting, for example, the Battle of Arabella, which is, Alexander the Great, sort of as he marches with the army, the Greek army, facing up against King Darius. And so students are reenacting significant moments in history in order to sort of become immersive and develop tools like empathy, for example. So we sort of run the gamut in the different ways in which we challenge our students.
Right. It sounds like great opportunities all around. I hope we answered your questions. Thank you guys for your insight, and thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
Come visit our campus. There are so many opportunities for you to see the Quinnipiac community for yourself. For more information on upcoming open houses, preview days, admitted students days, and more, visit qu.edu/studentslive. Don't miss your opportunity to win a customized Quinnipiac College of Arts and Sciences Bobcat prize pack. Like this video by the end of the show, and we will select one lucky winner. the Bobcat prize pack. It's got a lot of great stuff in it. If you see it now, it's got awesome stuff, so please submit your questions. The undergraduate experience is vital to any student in order to succeed in their career. And to elaborate more on those experiences, we have Tori Majuatan, Zaria Brogdon, and Morgan Kazara. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So my first question for Zaria, why did you choose Quinnipiac's Game Design and Development program?
I chose Quinnipiac's Game Design and Development program because it took something that I and everyone else think of as a hobby and made it into a profession. It took what I learned as a kid and enhanced those skills in order for me to work at a professional level, just like my professors and people who work in computer technology, game development, anything from those array of things that stem from coding, graphic design, and things like that.
Right, and you came in, you didn't exactly know what coding was?
I
You
didn't.
liked
I
it?
had no idea how to code, but professors like Greg Garvey and Eleanor Bertozzi are very on top of kids who don't really know, and now I know how to code in C#, C++. It's a lot, but it feels good to know exactly what I'm doing in my projects.
Right. So Tori, what did you want to study coming into Quinnipiac?
I initially wanted to study medicine, but Quinnipiac doesn't have an undergraduate medical program, so I figured what's the next best thing? And that was, for me, was biology, because I love the human body and I love learning about cells and things like that. But also, because I want to work in the United Nations with the World Health Organization, I thought I should probably expand my horizons in my undergrad degree to include human rights and international development and things like that, because I'd like to work in developing nations to help improve their healthcare.
Thank you guys for your questions. Tori, we have a question here for you from Michael, and he asks, how flexible would it be to switch majors or add a double major, for example, bioscience and economics?
Having a double major is, as most people would know, it's a lot of work because it is two separate majors, but if you are dedicated and you are ambitious, there are people at Quinnipiac that are there for you. They love ambitious students that are ready to put the work in, and they will put in the work, the time and effort with you. As far as economics and biology, you would have to have two different schools there. So you'd actually be working with a double degree and not a double major, which again is also a lot of work. So I would look at the requirements for those two degrees first before you make that decision.
Right, and Zara, you touched on it a little bit before, and Tori too. What would you guys say is your relationship like with faculty here?
My advisor, Professor Veith, is the most amazing man. He is so encouraging. He was the one that even pushed me towards getting an independent major. I'd initially wanted to do political science, but struggled with some of the topics there. But he was the one that said, achieve your dreams. You're ambitious. You want to do big things, so do big things. So he was really, really important, as well as the fact that I'm in the honors program here, and Professor Melissa Kaplan, she expands our views so much. Our horizons are always, being pushed all the time. I'm doing arts and theater, which I never thought I'd be doing in college, but I'm really enjoying myself. It's a really good thing to be pushed like that.
Yeah, my advisor, Eleanor Bertozzi, she pushes me over the edge to do things that I would have never dreamed of. There aren't many girls in the game design program, but there are a lot more coming in from the freshman year and sophomore year behind me. And she makes me do things like take chances. She makes me stay on top of my work in the game design program because she wants to see us do more with the skills that we have and enhance them. And she has also given me a bit of leadership towards my internship. She has helped me gain knowledge with the CEO of that company because she is working on a VR project currently, and it also goes hand in hand with my business and video games class. So I'm kind of on the fence about running my own business because I'm seeing how a CEO runs her business, and I'm also seeing how a business is run in game development at the same time.
Right. So it sounds like you've gone through a lot of the ropes already. So we have a question here from Maya, and she asks, how much help did you have in deciding what classes to take?
A lot. You get a lot of help from different advisees. If you decide to minor in something, you go to a person who can help you in minoring in something. You want to major in your major, they ask you what design track would you like to go on. Would you like to go on the design track for game design or the development side? Development would be coding, and I took coding, so there's a whole bunch of classes I can take for coding, and I can also take my design classes as electives, so I'm not missing out on learning how to 3D model and stuff like that.
Right.
So.
Morgan, I saw you nod your head, right? You definitely agree?
Yes, absolutely. I think that the staff here really wants to know you more than just as a student. They want to really get to know who you are as an individual, and they want to push you to explore your passions and figure out what you really want to do with your life after Quinnipiac. So I think they do a great job with really getting to know you and figuring out what kind of courses you can fit in your schedule to really help you explore those passions and figure out who you are as an individual outside of Quinnipiac.
Right. So Morgan, I know that you're in the Master's in Arts of Teaching program here at school. So how did your undergrad experience in psychology help you do that? Get into that program?
Yes, yeah.
Right.
I think Quinnipiac does an awesome job with letting you, again, explore your passions within your major. So coming in, when I came in as a freshman, there wasn't an education as a major. So I was like, oh, how am I going to connect psychology degree and my Master of Arts in Teaching? But I think all the faculty worked so well with me to figure out how I can make those two passions connect. So I took a class that was called Compassion Training, and in that class I got to actually explore a field that I didn't even know I was passionate about before, social and emotional learning. So teaching kids how to be caring and responsible individuals inside and outside the classroom, and I got to actually go into schools in the Hampton community and see this awesome program in action, see how this new unique program is impacting kids and impacting academic success too. So it was great to be able to explore something that I didn't even know I would be so passionate about, and now I'm actually continuing to pursue my education after, because Quinnipiac is actually now starting a certificate in social and emotional learning on top of your master's. So I'm going to be pursuing that after, and I would have never thought of doing that if it hadn't been for my psychology degree.
Wow, well congrats on that. Sounds like it was an easy transition. That's honestly what everybody hopes for, I'm sure. And so now we have another question, Zaria. Angela asks, can you speak a little bit about the honors program?
Oh, I'm not in the honors program.
Do you know anybody that is in the honors program?
Oh, I'm in the honors program. The honors program is quite an interesting program in that it's not necessarily that you have to take specific honors classes or all your classes are honors, but you have to complete 8 honors credits a year. And that can either be 4 honors credits of classes or 4 half classes, half events. So I'm currently taking 3 different signature experiences, which is what we call our honors events. I'm taking theater, CT Forum, which is a forum where I'm actually getting to talk to the Prime Minister of Australia, one of the ex-Prime Ministers of Australia, the first woman Prime Minister of Australia actually. Wow. And another event that I actually set up as part of one of my internships, it's a class that takes students to the UN to learn about the Commission for the Status of Women that is happening in March in New York. These experiences and these classes aim to push our ways of thinking, to push us further than what typical classes may require of us, because perhaps the teacher may not have the time to go that deep with us. So our classes in honors are very, very small. It's a great opportunity. I suggest if you get recommended to join. It's just an essay. Join. You'll have the time of your life. We have an LLC as well, so we live together. LLC being Living Learning Community. Some of us live together. That's been really, really helpful, making new friends that way. Yeah, it's a really wonderful experience. I suggest it for everyone.
And so now for each of you, if you could talk a little bit about what tipped the scale for you guys to choose Quinnipiac over other schools. Morgan, do you want to start for us?
Yeah. For me, definitely having the opportunity to be able to get my master's immediately after graduating with my undergrad.
Definitely.
I think a lot of schools don't offer that opportunity, and it's great to not have to leave the Quinnipiac community that I fell so in love with.
Right, and
starting
the
from
faculty,
freshman
you
year.
know them
yes,
so well.
exactly. You come to know that all my classmates in the school of ed are now a family to me, because we've been together since freshman year, and now here we are about to graduate with our master's degree. So
right.
I think that was definitely what sent me over the edge, and yep, this is the school for me.
I'm happy for you. And Zaria, you too?
They use programs that I've heard of, and like Unreal Engine, and I was told that we'd be using it as juniors and seniors, and I wouldn't have never thought, like 8-year-old Zaria would have never thought to be using Unreal Engine when she's playing video games that use the same engine, and now I'm crafting games on that same engine. So seeing the programs that they use that I've never touched and that I was able to touch I was right there, front door at Quinnipiac University.
So cool. Mm-hmm. You too, Tori?
For me, like I said, I wanted to work for the United Nations, and I saw the Global Public Health minor, which is actually a Bachelor of Science here. In most schools, it's a Bachelor of Arts, which was a bit annoying for me because I really love science.
Right.
So seeing that and realizing I could just not only do what I wanted as a minor, but do an independent major and then do biology as well, like this is definitely the place I need to be right now.
Right. You totally designed everything that you're doing here, right?
Yes, I did. My independent major was completely me. All the classes I've chosen, I've written up a statement of intent on what I would like to get from this course. So this is completely of my design and my own reasoning.
Right, that's awesome. And Angela, why I chose Quinnipiac, there's so many hands-on learning experiences that if I want to be able to get a career after college, I have to be able to practice it. Mm-hmm. So that was the tipping point for me. Thank you guys for your insight. That was wonderful. And thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we have our Bobcat Prize winner. Congratulations, Telia Pizer. Thank you so much. That's all the time we have for the show this evening. Thanks for watching. We hope to see you on one of our campuses.